There's a beautiful story. There were once a man, he studied, and a young fellow, he applied for a job of a manager. So he sent his application, everything went fine, and he went for the first interview, was wonderful, and he went for the second interview, it was wonderful. So the third interview was from the CEO himself. So when on the appointed day he was called for the interview, the CEO asked him, looking at his paper, and he said to him, I see, you have wonderful grade, in your study. And he asked him, who have paid? Who have you got a scholarship for your study? And the young man said no. Then he said, your father have paid for your study. Then the young man said, no, my father died when I was 1 year old. Then he said, but who paid for your study? Asked the CEO. So when he answered, he said, my mother paid for my study. My mother worked and paid for my study. Then the CEO answered him, so what does your mother do? I said, my mother worked as a clothes cleaner. So she cleaned clothes. So then the CEO said, let me see your hand. So the man put his hand out in front of the CEO, and the CEO was looking at his hand, and he asked him, do you help your mother? So without thinking, the young fellow said, oh no, I never helped my mother. She wants me to study, and also I don't have time for that, and she can wash clothes better than me, more faster also. So looking at his hand again, he said, okay, do one thing, my dear. Tonight when you go back to your place, wash the hand of your mother. Strange in his mind. He said, okay, yes, I will do. Then come and see me tomorrow. As the young fellow left the office, he was thinking. The interview went very well, and he was very keen and very adamant that he will get the job as a manager. So that night he reached home, and he asked his mother, Mother, let me wash your hand. The mother was a bit taken aback, why he want to wash my hand. So as his son asked him, she approved of it. So when he held his mother's hand, for the first time of his life, he saw that his mother's hand is full of wrinkles and bruises. So, looking at his mother's hand, he started cleaning the hand of his mother. And as he was cleaning the hand of his mother, tears started rolling from his eyes. And of course, the mother, because of the bruises, she was shivering with pain, sometimes when the water will go inside. So he held his mother's hand and he started crying. So that night, he cooked food for his mother, and he gave it to his mom. And when his mother was eating, he washed all the other clothes. And that night, mother and son, they sat and talked about their life itself, how wonderful, their life had been. And he was having such a gratitude for his mother, for what she had done for him. So the next day he went to the office. The CEO asked him, how was your day? How was it last night when you talked with, have you done what I told you to do? And he said, yes, I have washed the hand of my mother. And he was crying. Some tears rolled down from his eyes. And then the CEO said to him, what lesson have you learned from that? And he said that I have learned that I should not take everything for granted. And I have to be grateful for what my mother have done for me. I have to be grateful for what people who love me do for me. And the CEO said, yes. And that kind of manager I would like to have. So you are hired, So throughout his life, he became a wonderful manager, always listening to the people and really be grateful. And all his subordinates, all his employees who was working under him, they always praise him because he was always there for them and listened to them. So you see, life is the same, We have to be grateful for what Bhagwan have given us. When would you be grateful for what he have given you? And this is all his mercy itself. It is through his mercy that you have been here. It's through his mercy that you have become a devotee. And for his mercy that everything have happened in your life. And also through that mercy, his grace will descend upon you, so that he can grace you with his presence and with in his vision itself. So you see, mercy is here now, and it is through his mercy that we hold upon and being grateful of life itself, being grateful of whatever he have given us, that grace can descend upon us.